We are starting Hasbar 12:1. We are now beginning the 7th chapter in Brachot, Daf Mem Hey Amud Aleph. And the Mishnah is going to talk about who is required to make a zimun after having a meal. Who are the people that are allowed to make a mezumin, and which people are not allowed to be counted in a mezumin. But before we do that, let's take a look at some terms that I think will be helpful to understand the Mishnah. Produce that is grown in Eretz Yisrael require truma and maaser. Truma is the first portion that is grown crop that is given to the Kohen, usually about 1/40th to 1/60th of your total crop, and it's separated before we give meiser to the Levi. Maaser, there are a few maasers that the Levi get. Maaser Rishon, once the truma has been given to the Kohen, then the owner of the field has to take 1/10 of his field and give that produce to the Levi. The Levi then has to give truma to the Kohen. That's called truma maaser. So then the Levi again has to give truma from his maaser to the Kohen. There's something called maaser sheni. Now in the Shemitah cycle, in the 7-year Shemitah cycle, in years 1, 2, 4, and 5 of the Shemitah cycle, the remaining maaser of the owner's crop is to be taken and eaten in Yerushalayim. If there's too much to carry, they would redeem it on a silver image coin, meaning it has some sort of face, some sort of image on it. And it was then that money was taken to Yerushalayim to purchase food. Once you're in Yerushalayim, you'd have to add on 20% of the total value, meaning it's a value-added tax, basically of 1/5, and you buy that food as Maaser Sheni in Yerushalayim, and it's eaten in Yerushalayim. And again, that's on year 1, 2, 4, and 5 of the Shemitah cycle. Maaser Ani, given to the poor, that takes place in year 3 and 6 of the Shemitah cycle. Then we have something called Demai, which is produce sold by people who are not educated, Amei Haaretz. The assumption is that truma has been taken from it, but meiser may not have been. They weren't necessarily careful about giving the Levi his due, and that's called demai. Now, the assumption is most produce sold in the market, truma and maaser, have been given, but buying from an Am Aretz, it may be demai. Tevel, that's produce grown in Eretz Yisrael that no truma and maaser have been given from it and is totally prohibited from being eaten. And then finally, there's something called a kuti. They were pagan people who were brought by the Assyrians to Eretz Yisrael, and subsequently they were converted to Judaism. There's a story that the lions were attacking them and they realized it's a holy land, we should convert to Judaism. So the legitimacy of the conversion was a matter of dispute. In the early Amoraic, which is later than the Mishnah, it was resolved that they were not to be considered Jews. But our Mishnah, which is before the Amoraic period, they were considered Jews. So things change over society. Okay, so hopefully these terms, you can refer back to them, will help us with the Mishnah. The Mishnah assumes you know what these terms mean. We begin the Mishnah. Shloshu sha'achol ke'echad, when 3 people eat together as one, chayavin lezamein, they are required, obligated to make a mezumin. They have to say Rabbasai Navarech before they bench. Ochel demai, if someone as part of the meal ate demai, or Levi ate Maaser Rishon shenitla trumaso, that Levi ate of Maaser Rishon, and the assumption is that he did give his truma to the Kohen. Maaser Sheni, a person ate Maaser Sheni at this meal, the Hegdesh Niftu, and the assumption was that it was redeemed, meaning it wasn't the original produce, but it was a produce that was bought in Yerushalayim with an extra 1/5. Hashamash, if the waiter, the attendant, Sha'achal kezayet, if he ate a kezayet, we'll talk about that, a certain measurement of food with the other 2 people at the meal, making him a third, the hakuti, or one of the people at the meal was a kuti, mizamnin alav, they can be included in the mezumin. Okay. Now, here's where they can't be. Ochel tevel. If they're eating, or one of them eating tevel as part of his meal, that means no truma and ma'aser have been taken. U'ma'aser rishon, and the Levi is eating his ma'aser rishon. Shalod nidla truma, so before he gave the truma to the kohen. U'ma'aser sheni, a person was eating ma'aser sheni. Vehekdesh shalod nifitu, but guess what? He ate it in Yerushalayim, but he didn't redeem it. He didn't add on either. He didn't redeem it onto a proper coin. That's what the Gemara says. He did it to a silver coin without an image or a different type of coin. He didn't follow the exact instructions. So shalit nitfutu. He thinks that he redeemed it, but he didn't redeem it properly. V'hashamash, or the attendant, the waiter, she'achal pachad mikazayis. He joined the other two, but he ate less than a kazayis, which literally translated means an olive side of food. Okay. V'hanachri, and a non-Jew, ein mizamnin alav. If a nachri is one of the three, a mezuman cannot be included, and no mezuman is happening. Noshim va'avadim kitanim. Now we go on to say that women, slaves, and minors, we'll talk about what kind of slave we're talking about a little later, ein mizamnin aleihem, cannot be part of the mezumin. They can't be counted. Ad kamen mizamnin. How much has to be eaten at the meal to create a zumin? Ad kazayit. The Tanakama of our Mishnah says each person has to eat at least a kazayit, an olive size. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, ad kebetza, the size of an egg, which seems to be a little bit larger. Okay, that's our Mishnah. You have a lot of terms to define. But again, who can make a mezumin? Who can't be part of mezumin? How much do you have to eat to be part of mezumin? And hopefully we'll explore why is it important to make a mezumin, and so on. All right, please do your Hasbar. Have a great day.